Yes, hello and welcome everybody. It's Chris here from the Ministry of Dice, and I'm back again today with another one of my video presentation thingamadoodads. And to open today's video, I have a question for you, dear viewer. Do you enjoy playing theme formats in the game of Dice Masters? Because I do. I love playing theme formats, and I'm calling it out now. My absolute favourite format to play, hands down, without a doubt, is the Single Affiliation format. This is when you play with teams that are solely 100% made from cards that include the affiliation symbol from one particular affiliation. And regular viewers and listeners of my content will know that I'm a huge comic book nerd, and I get so excited when I see kind of team-based synergies within the affiliations, and I just think it's the absolute best way to play the game. I think it is one of the unique selling points that you can kind of get these teams together and explore that what-if possibility of the worlds of these IPs, you know, to answer those questions. How would the Justice League fare when facing up against the X-Men? Can the Teen Titans take down a team of dragons? Are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tough enough to give the Guardians of the Galaxy a kicking, you know? And so I'm kicking off today I was about to say mini-series, but it's probably going to end up being a maxi-series, as if I haven't got enough maxi-series going on the channel right now. But I'm kicking off today, as you can see, part one of a range of videos where I'm going to dive into and talk about the Dice Masters affiliations. And just as a heads up, today's video, I'm going to be focusing on the Justice League affiliation. Before I do, though, I'm going to just qualify a few things. The first is, of course, as always, the old salesy pitch. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do take the time to go and give me a thumbs up. It helps in so many ways support the channel, as well as let me know that I'm going in the right direction and producing the type of content that you guys want to see. Also, I'm just going to give you a bit of a view of the kind of criteria that I'm judging these affiliations by. So the first thing I'm going to look at and talk about in this video and in subsequent videos is the card pool. What sets do these affiliations appear in, and how many cards are there available to build teams from? While it doesn't necessarily mean that the bigger card pool affiliations are better, it may be an indicator of how much variety there is within that affiliation and how many opportunities there are to make different types of teams that do different types of things. So I'm going to talk about the card pool. Then it's on to win conditions. If you're going to be building around these affiliations, you need to have something in there that's going to let you win the games. So does it have win conditions? How powerful are those win conditions? Are they interesting? Are they fun? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the win conditions that are available. And also, as usual, just tying a bit of the kind of themey stuff there to talk about how in line these win conditions are with the intellectual property around the affiliation. And then finally, I'm going to talk about support and utility. You know, it's all good and well having great win conditions, but if the affiliation ain't got the ramp to buy the stuff to win, then it's no use at all. If the affiliation has a particular weakness, is there some protection available that's going to support your cards and make sure that they are able to do what they need to do? Is there removal so that you can get rid of pests on the other side of the table, and so on and so forth? So I'm just going to take a look at the affiliations and talk a little bit about not only has it got great win conditions and are they fun to play, but does it have the utility and support to make those win conditions go the distance? So there we are. Okay, so here is broadly the affiliations that I'm planning on focusing on through this video maxi series. And as I say, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus specifically on the Justice League affiliation. And so let's talk a bit about that card pool then. We have, according to the Dice Coalition Team Builder, 120 cards in the Justice League affiliation, which is probably one of the smallest. There is one much smaller, but probably one of the smallest card pools for a single affiliation that there is within the game. You can see there a list of the sets that the affiliation is available in. We've, of course, got the Justice League set from the early days. We have Green Arrow and the Flash had some Justice League cards within it. The Justice Campaign box has clearly got a big Justice League focus within it. And the Superman Wonder Woman starter set has also got some Justice League focus characters within it. And it is my hope, my sincerest hope, that the Justice League affiliation is going to get a little boost to its ranks when the Justice League Kryptonite Crisis set arrives, whenever that may be, probably next year now. So it's a smaller card pool, but I think if you're interested in playing the Justice League as a kind of single affiliation themey setup, the smaller card pool, what's nice about it is you can quite quickly and cheaply get your hands on good Justice League cards to use in a Justice League team. I mean, specifically, the Superman Wonder Woman starter set and the Justice League campaign, the Justice campaign box, if you just pick those two up, you've got enough to get a team started with some of the kind of, headline, key characters that will be of interest to you, but also with lots going on in terms of fleshing the team out and making it a successful team as well. It's probably stronger in Golden. Looking at those sets, I mean, there's only one modern legal set within it, which is the Justice campaign box. Although, as I say, it is very it does have a lot of internal stuff going on. But it's definitely one of the ones with the smaller card pool, so the variety may not be there if you like to have a lot of choice to build your teams around. Okay, let's talk about win conditions a little bit then. So, one win condition in the Justice League set that's quite unique. It's only really appeared in one other affiliation with the villains, and in one specific instance, is the retaliation keyword that was in the Justice League set, and also made a reappearance on cards in the Justice campaign box. And this is a lovely kind of keyword win condition to roll into the Justice League, because it really speaks to the idea of, they're a team, they're a unit that works together to succeed. And retaliation is all about when one of your affiliated characters is KO'd, it deals damage to the opposing player. So this kind of idea that, Batman out in the field with the rest of his Justice League buddies defeating the Legion of Doom. But you know what? If the Legion of Doom knocks Hawkgirl on her ass, then all the other Justice League characters are kind of just given a bit of a boost and come back fighting harder. That's kind of the way I interpret the idea of retaliation, that like, you come after one of ours, you take down one of ours, we'll come back even stronger. And this Batman, World's Greatest Detective, this was a great retaliation win condition card, because it also had this added bonus of giving you a bit of life when you fielded a Justice League character as well. It was definitely slow, it was death by 1,000 cuts. Back in the day when we played Justice League only, when that was the only DC IP set that we had, you kind of load your team up, because there was retaliation on a Superman, there was retaliation on an Aquaman, there was retaliation on a Cyborg, so you'd load up a bit and have a few retaliation characters to really maximise that damage. But it's a pretty unique win condition to the Justice League set, and really thematically tied into the way that they work as a team, and if you're not one of them on the ass, as I say, they'll come back stronger. But that's not just the limits of Justice League win conditions. If you're a fan of direct damage, there's a bit of direct damage stuff going on in the Justice League set. Green Lantern Human, recognised, often called the Mini Lantern Ring, because it is Justice League specific. He only applies his gain text to Justice League characters, and he allows them to deal 1 point of damage for each matching energy to their energy type in the reserve pool. So lots of damage potential there with Green Lantern, and can get really crazy if you're playing Golden Justice League teams. Also had his little day in the sun for a little while was the Atom Professor. He's got Awaken, which is when you spin him up and he deals 2 damage to target opponent, which has been somewhat nerfed with Energy Field being errated. However, in a single affiliation setup, because Energy Field is a DC card, is a DC basic action, you can have lots of merry fun spinning up and down your atoms, pinging your opponent, because the pace of the win might not be quite as in your face as it would be in a kind of open constructed format, in an open constructed meta. But not only that, you've also got a bit of meat, a bit of beefy meat in the Justice League lineup as well. So you've got this Batman here who can come along and make all your sidekicks really tough and kind of buff everyone up to make them tougher and deliver a more aggressive blow using sidekicks. And there's also one that becomes bigger when you've got sidekicks in the field as well. And then you've got kind of some of the more big beat sticky style Justice League characters. You've got Hawkman there, he gets bigger for each other Justice League character out in the field. Martian Manhunter, big beefy Overcrusher. You've got a Superman there, loads of Supermen with big tough stats in the Justice League staple. That one in particular is quite nice because he helps you buy other Justice League characters cheaper. And one thing that will stand out to you, hopefully, that makes this a really lovely single affiliation build is that there's a big focus on how they interact and work with one another. So Hawkman gets his bonus for other Justice League characters. Green Lantern supports other Justice League characters and gives them an additional way to deal damage. Superman is inspiring. He lets you get other Justice League characters for cheaper. And as you'll see in some of the other cards that I'm about to show you, there's lots of that going on there. So I just love that it calls out very specifically on the cards that these Justice League characters work as a team, support one another, and become better when they are together. You know, it's just so focused on being a great kind of theme build. Okay, let's talk a little bit about utility cards then, and here's a few I've just dropped on the screen there. Again, we've got lots of, you'll see that Justice League symbol in the game text there, lots of kind of synergy within the affiliation supporting one another. These are the ramp selection, so, you know, there's a few expensive Justice League cards. You know, your Supermans and your Batmans don't come cheap at 5s and 6s and 7s. But don't worry, because you've got the King of Atlantis himself there, Aquaman, Arthur Curry, ready to, I don't know, attract everyone's attention as the sunlight reflects off his gold armor thing to make them all follow him. I'm not sure why he's the guy. I would have probably said maybe Superman was the one to be the more... Anyway, but here he is. He makes your Justice League characters cost 1 less to purchase, and he's a nice early cheap purchase as well at a 3 cost. You've got Batman here, the smart one. He makes them cheaper to field and buffs them up. Incidentally, there's a Wonder Woman who does that as well from the Justice League set, although I've not included her card image here. And then you've got cards like Zatanna. There's a couple of versions of her that are all about prepping dice. I've just popped this one on the screen as an example. When she's fielded, you draw a dice from your bag and add it to your prep area. I used to love comboing her up with the Batman from the previous screen, World's Greatest Detective. Field her, gain a life, prep a dice, then attack with her, get her KO'd, fire some retaliation damage down the field, you know, so just constantly cycling my Zatannas around. And if I fielded her at level 1, at that 0-1-1, the chances of her getting KO'd by the blocker that my opponent had was really, really high, so I used to love doing that. So there's some utility there. There is some support within the affiliation to help you buy and field those characters at a discount cost to get them out in the field much, much quicker. There's some other utility stuff as well. You know, if you're you need a way of removing pests or clearing a board to get your beat sticks through, then here's some examples of what's sitting in the Justice League affiliation. This Firestorm, host of the Matrix, I've got PTSD with this guy. Ben Said Scott, our current world champion, used to batter me with this all the time. And he reads, when Firestorm attacks, deal 1 damage to target character die for each other character die in your field zone. So just get a Firestorm with a few other dice and you're removing stuff like a maniac when you attack. This Green Arrow as well, no fancy ring. He's a new addition in the Justice campaign box. He's got a powerful large area of effect, kind of apocalyptic effect, because when he's fielded, he deals X damage to each opposing character die, where X is the number of your active Justice League characters other than Green Arrow. So what I really like to do with Green Arrow is kind of go for the long game, get an Aquaman out, get a Batman out, then start loading up on Hawkmans and Hawkgirls and load them up in the field, as many as possible, so that I can then drop a Green Arrow when I'm ready, do 4, 5, 6, 7 damage across the field to clear out what I'm looking at the other side, and then really take advantage of Hawkman's game text, where he gets a +1 attack buff for each other Justice League character in the field, and really take advantage of Hawkgirl, who spins up when she attacks, so that I'm just maximising my damage potential there. So that's a lovely one, and can only really become a reality in a Justice League team, in a single affiliation Justice League team, because Green Arrow relies on other Justice League characters. So yeah, there's other examples within the affiliation, but there's just a few key highlights. Not only have you got a bit of ramp and a way of buying your dice cheaper and getting set up for success, but you can also remove stuff from the other side of the field and also do a board clear if you want to go for the combat damage as well, which I think really supports the affiliation and makes it very viable to build a single affiliation team round. I tell you what else, if you're a fan of Control, here she is. That's the Holy Trinity here. We've got Batman, Superman, and now Wonder Woman sitting as examples. And these two Wonder Women are great examples of how the Justice League affiliation has some good control stuff going on with it. I mean, I've been a big fan big fan of the Wonder Woman Reflections in particular. I've used her a great deal in the past. I used her in my Iceman list, for example. It's a tricky one to use. You've got to, because she ignores when fielded and when attacks abilities for both sides of the table, yours and your opponent's. So she's not a great fit to use if you're planning on firing that green arrow board clear out into the field. But she is really strong control. She's got great stats. So once she's out, she's very immovable, and she really sets you up for success. But also you've got other Wonder Woman style control, like Wonder Woman Ambassador of Peace, who stops your opponent from using global abilities. That can just be super exciting. There's another one, in fact, Child of Clay, that I've not pictured on the screen here, that stops your opponent from using global abilities targeting your characters too. So she's just great protection from, if you want to do an attack, she's great protection from static fields. She's great protection from any global effects that are reducing your character's stats. She's great protection from magic missiles and unstable characters that might be looking to ping your cheaper, lower defense Justice League characters out of the field, and so just loads of control options just with that one character alone, and there's many more besides. These are just the highlights. So there you go, folks. There's my little whistle-stop tour of the Justice League affiliation. Please do go and take a look and explore them in more detail. That really is just like the headlines, the highlights, my faves, if you will. So go and take a look, but definitely a viable single affiliation team. Loads of, I know I'm repeating myself, but loads of that lovely synergy in amongst them all. For my next video, just to give you a heads up, I'm planning on focusing on the Avengers. So keep an eye out for that one coming in part 2. But again, please do give me a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video today. Let me know in the comments below, what's your favourite Justice League character? What kind of Justice League archetypes and combos have you been playing around with? What sort of Justice League teams do you find yourself winning with when you're playing the theme or getting involved in single affiliation themed formats? But in the meantime, please do check out the videos that the YouTube Super Brain thinks that you might enjoy on the right hand side of the screen right now. And I will see you on a video, on a podcast, or writing a blog post somewhere soon. Thanks for watching, folks. Ta-ra!